like my new bathing suit?
What you talking about, Kimberly? What you talking about, Willis? What you talking about, Mr. D? What you talking about, Adelaide? What you talking about, Willis? What you talking about, Dad? What you talking about, Oscar? What you talking about, Mary? What you talking about, Willis? What you talking about? What you talking about, Dad? What you talking about, mister? What you talking about, Willis? What you talking about, Manny? What you talking about, Dad? What you talking about, Willis? What you talking about, cousin Anna? What you talking about, mister? What you talking about, Dad? What you talking about, Willis? What you talking about, Santa? What you talking about, Mr. D? What you talking about, Willis? What you talking about, Doctor? What you talking about, Dad? Hold it. What you talking about, Aunt Cecilia? What you talking about, Willis? What you talking about, Doctor? What you talking about, Sam? What you talking about, Dad? What you talking about, Willis? What you talking about, lady? What you talking about, Kimberly? What you talking about, Dudley? What you talking about, Willis? What you talking about, Dad? What you talking about, Knight Rider? What you talking about, Mr. D? What you talking about, Willis? What you talking about, Lisa? What you talking about, Adelaide? What you talking about, Willis? What you talking about, Dad? What you talking about, Mr. Sloan? What you talking about, Willis? What you talking about, Miss Claremont? What you talking about, Dad? What you talking about, Willis? What you talking about, Rabbi? What you talking about? What you talking about, Willis? What you talking about, Dad? What you talking about, mister? What you talking about, Willis? What you talking about, Ace? What you talking about, Dad? What you talking about, Willis? What you talking about, Robbie? What you talking about, Willis? What you talking about, Angela? What you talking about, Dad? What you talking about, Willis? What you talking about, Kimberly? What you talking about, Dad? What you talking about, Denise? What you talking about, Willis? What you talking about, lady? What you talking about, Teresa? What you talking about, Dad? What you talking about, Doctor? What you talking about? What you talking about, Willis? What you talking about, Kathy? What you talking about, Miss Gandy? What you talking about, Dad? What you talking about, Mr. Stone? What you talking about, Dudley?
Here's looking at you, kid.